Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome back to another Toddy Walnuts video. And today, I was tagged by my fellow Scandinavian Viking brother, Daniel, who goes by Frank's Collecting Castle. I will definitely leave a link to his channel below. Actually, I'll leave a link to his channel and his video that he tagged me in, which is what are my favorite found footage movies. And I have a couple stacks here. We'll talk about those. He had an awesome video. A lot of the movies that he had in his video, I also have in my video here too. So I strongly encourage you to check out Daniel at Frank's Collecting Castle. And thank you, Daniel, for including me. I loved your video, and I always enjoy your videos. And it means a lot to me that you tagged me to give it kind of that old school vibe that YouTube used to have back, I don't know, 8-10 years ago. So thank you again for including me. Now let me stop talking here and let's get into these movies. Get yourselves relaxed, get a beverage and a snack. The ladies are here. Let's check out these movies. So sometimes I get a little rusty here with this YouTube thing, and I listened to that intro back and it sounded really corny, but this is always just a one-take operation here on Planet Walnuts, and I am not going to change anything, but I did make a mistake. I said my fellow Scandinavian brother, which would imply that I myself am Scandinavian, and I'm not. I'm American. I meant to say my fellow YouTube brother from Scandinavia and Viking, all that stuff, that good stuff. Yeah, so anyway, let's get into it here. I have sort of I guess it's kind of an organized mess here. So we're going to go through some of the Blu-rays first, and we'll get into the DVDs. And as Daniel mentioned in his video, these are kind of a niche type of movie, the found footage. People generally love them or they hate them. There's only a few instances where it's in between, and some of these I think are really good, but the majority of these that I have anyway are not very good. But I'll point out the ones that I like, and everybody's not the same. There were a couple on Daniel's channel that he said he absolutely hated, and I kind of like them. So I like that about different, I guess different ideas and different perspectives here on YouTube. We don't always have to like the same things, and that's what I like about the real channels, the channels that will discuss the movies and how they really feel about them, rather than just say what they think people want to hear. And there's a lot of that here on YouTube. But Daniel's one of the genuine ones, and he didn't like some of the movies, and I'll point out the ones that I like. And this one here I liked. This is called As Above, So Below, and it's a found footage movie about the catacombs in Paris. I thought this was pretty good. It kept me entertained, and there were some pretty suspenseful parts in here. I'm not going to get too involved and too in depth with these movies. I'll just point out the ones that I liked, and maybe you'll like them too, maybe you won't. But I thought the footage in the catacombs was pretty cool, and it makes you feel claustrophobic. And I think I would like to visit these at some point, but I don't think I would go too far. I wouldn't adventure too far into the catacombs. Not because I think there's monsters down there. It just doesn't appeal to me to go too deep. I would like to see it. I think it's pretty amazing what they did, but I thought they did a good job with this movie, and I thought they did a good job of keeping you involved in the movie and making you feel creepy and claustrophobic, and they had some pretty good jump scares at the right moments, and I do recommend As Above, So Below. I'm sure most of you have seen this by now. This one came out in, I don't want to spend too much time per movie for this video, 2014 I think. 2014 I think for that movie. And next we have the VHS movies. I only went up to VHS 2. I think there might be like 4, maybe 5 in the franchise. these are found footage movies, but it's like an anthology type movie where they have different little movies that kind of compile to make a long movie, if that makes any sense. I'm not really making much sense today. It was a long Monday, but I thought they were okay, but they could have been better. They're not my favorite movies, but I thought they were good enough. They're entertaining enough. If you haven't seen them, I think it's definitely worthy of one watch. Would I ever watch these again? I doubt it. I don't know, but I have way too many other things to watch than to rewatch these, I guess. But it just says VHS is a point of view found footage horror film from the perspective of America's top genre filmmakers. In VHS, a group of misfits are hired by an unknown third party to burglarize a desolate house in the countryside and acquire a rare tape. I'm not going to read all of it, though, but if I remember right, and it's been a while since I've seen that, and by the way, I do have a DVD of it. I think I had the DVD first. I can't remember why, but I do have the DVD of it. I thought, if I remember correctly, VHS 2 was a little bit better to me than VHS 1 was. But they were both very average, maybe 5 or 6 out of 10. So that is VHS and VHS 2 from 2012 and 2013. And that was about the time that the found footage movies became really popular, like between 2010 and 2014. You'll notice a lot of those dates, a lot of those years for these movies. Here is a movie from 2012 that I thought was pretty good. This was one that I enjoyed. And this is about the Chernobyl disaster from the Ukraine in the spring of 1986. But this is years later. This is a found footage movie, a scary horror movie about the after effects of it, called Chernobyl Diaries, Experience the Fallout. This one had just enough creepy scenes and kind of, I guess, jump scares and just kind of that dirty Fallout feeling, kind of the apocalyptic feel to it. And I thought this one was pretty good. Again, I don't know if I would watch it again, but it was definitely worthy of a one-time watch. And you can see, as the worst nuclear disaster in history unfolds, residents are driven from their homes. 25 years later, 6 young vacationers. Extreme terrorism. It's cool. If you like, there's a lot of, I guess, kind of adventure channels here on YouTube where they'll visit abandoned houses or abandoned villages. There's even a guy on here named Shy. I'm sure some of you know who he is. He's got a pretty huge channel. I think he actually went to Chernobyl or somewhere in that vicinity. And it's pretty amazing. And even just watching his video, it's creepy. So I would recommend this if you haven't seen it. Check out Chernobyl Diaries. So the next one, or the next two rather, are probably the most famous found footage movies. Or this is the one that pretty much set off the genre for found footage. And by the time I watched this, it had been out for a while, and it was so hyped up. I think I rented this on VHS. That's how old this one is, 1999. I believe I did rent it on VHS. I didn't see it in the theater, and I didn't really care much for it when I saw it because it was so overhyped. But I think over time, I have gained a little bit of appreciation for it, just for being kind of a founder of the found footage, no pun intended, franchise or genre rather. I have seen this a couple times. I do like it. And there's old Booger Nose, or Heather, her name was, right? And they kept showing the camera right up her dirty booger nose, which was kind of gross to me. Boogers are really gross. This was the, I guess, remake that came out just even a couple years ago. I'm not sure if they consider this one a found footage. It's more or less kind of a horror movie. I'm not sure if they consider that a found footage. I thought this was pretty good, though. And I have gained appreciation for the first one over the years. So it took a while to like it, I guess, but it's in my collection, and here it stays. The OG, the Blair Witch Project. Here's another chance for me to give out a shout out to a Scandinavian Viking from Norway. Inge, who is Arrow Thru Head, I will link his channel down below. He sent me this movie. This is the Norwegian edition of Troll, and I have it, the American version from Magnet, on Blu-ray and on DVD, and this is a really cool movie. I like this one a lot. They showed just enough of the troll to keep you engaged in the movie, to keep you, you know, to keep your attention span, and it's a really, really cool movie. I love the winter setting, the ice and the snow, and the way that the troll looks and how he walks through the big field, or the big patch of woods, I guess you call it. This is definitely one of the better found footage movies, in my opinion. And thank you again to Inge, who is Arrow Thru Head, for sending this to me several years ago. It's a pretty cool edition. It's pretty heavy too. It's a nice solid set. And if you haven't seen Troll Hunter, do check it out. This one came out in 2010. And I believe it was filmed entirely in Norway too. So, and I believe it was it filmed by a Norwegian filmmaker? I might be wrong about that, but it's rated PG-13. There's really not a lot of violence in the movie. It's just that there are some very creepy parts to it, though. And like I said, you don't see the troll a lot, but what you do see is effective, I think, and it keeps you interested in the movie. So definitely check out Troll Hunter. So this next one, I wasn't gonna show this one in my video because I've been through the ringer on YouTube over this particular title. I'm not going to mention the name of it. Daniel showed it in his video as well, and rightfully so. I think this deserves to be shown with found footage movies. It's just so controversial, and it's both of the words, separate words, are, I guess, no-no words for YouTube. You can't say these words without getting kind of dinged, I guess. But this is definitely one of the most controversial found footage movies. And like Daniel said in his video, there have been movies that surpassed this with in vulgarity or in gore effects and stuff like that. But this definitely does. I'm not going to even show the back of this. I'm sure most of you horror heads out there have seen this movie, probably own it many different times. I own this a few different times. This is the Shameless Entertainment Blu-ray of it. There was a really nice edition put out by Grindhouse Releasing that I have too. I just wanted to show this one today. But I don't love this movie, but I respect it for being I guess, kind of a forefather of the genre. And this is the infamous movie that Charlie Sheen got a hold of back in the 80s, whenever this came out. And he thought there was real acts of violence in this movie. He thought it was people really getting maimed and murdered, and, you know, all that stuff. And I guess he got in touch with some authorities, and they looked into it, and I guess they even had to call in some of the actors and actresses and people who were involved in the film to kind of testify and prove that everybody was who they are and nobody was harmed filming this movie. There are some really grotesque scenes in this movie, and there's animal torture in here, and that's another thing. I detest animal torture. Even if it's just cutting a snake or harming a turtle, I don't like that at all, and I don't watch those movies. I think they're disgusting, and anybody who would harm an animal is a horse's ass, in my opinion. But I do respect the lore of this movie and how it came to be, but it's not one of my favorite movies. It's just something I had to talk about for this found footage video that I'm doing. So we're going to move on. So this next movie is, in my opinion, one of the best found footage movies out there. This is called Lake Mungo, and I think this is the German edition. I bought this a few years ago, probably 8 years ago. This was before it had an official Blu-ray release. This was I think this is the German release. And it's a movie from 2008. It's about a girl. I'm not going to give too much of it away, but it's about a girl who drowns, and there is some paranormal stuff that happens in this movie. and it genuinely freaked me out in a couple different scenes. And that's hard to do these days for me, but this was a legit scary movie. And if you haven't seen Lake Mungo, check it out. I was actually recommended this movie by fellow YouTuber Curious World years ago. And he asked me if I ever saw the movie, and at the time I said no. So then he was like, yeah, you got to check it out. So that's when I found I think I bought this on German eBay. And it was definitely worthy of a purchase. And if you haven't seen Lake Mungo, if you like scary movies, check it out. If you like ghost stories and paranormal stuff, this is a freaky movie. Okay, now these next two movies, this is where Daniel and I differ a little bit, and it's okay to differ. There's nothing that says we all have to like the same things. And I kind of like that we all don't like the same things. It just makes it more authentic. So these movies are called The House is October Built, and then this is the sequel to it. And I'm actually going to be showing these and talking about these in a separate video as well. These are going to be my Halloween-themed movies, but I wanted to throw them in with this video too. These are found footage movies, and they are pretty freaky to me. Now, Daniel said he watched these and he was pretty bored with it, but I thought these were pretty effective for me. I think I liked part 2 a little bit better. Let me see, when did these come out? This one came out in 2014, and this one, 2017. I don't know if there was ever a third, but I really liked these movies, and it reminded me a little bit of the movie called Haunt, which was another excellent movie. And I like haunted theme parks, and I like haunted house movies. So if you like those kind of movies, and it was effective enough to give me a couple of scares here and there. And I thought these were pretty good. Now, Daniel didn't like these, and that's fine. Not everybody likes the same movies. I would be curious to hear if anybody else felt the same way about these as I do. Maybe there's a lot of people that don't like them. I don't know. I tend to like different types of movies. I'm a little bit odd that way. But I really enjoyed both of these, and I would recommend them. And if you haven't seen them, at least give them a shot. And maybe you won't like them, maybe you will, but do check it out. This was a Best Buy exclusive, I guess. I kept a sticker on there. I don't think this one was, though. I recommend them. Let me see if there's anything we can show on the back. It looks cool. These were both put up by our LJ Entertainment. Yeah, I guess that's all we can really say about those right now. I liked them. Let me know what you guys think. So as far as Bigfoot movies, there's quite a few found footage movies for Bigfoot, and I didn't want to bring all of them out. I just brought out Willow Creek. This was a pretty good movie, but the scenery in this movie was fantastic. It was amazing. The acting was not very good, but I think that kind of adds to the charm of the found footage type movies. The acting is generally not very good, and it's supposed to make you feel like you're watching just normal people through like a camcorder or a cell phone type thing. But I thought the scenery was really cool, and this was actually a pretty freaky movie. Again, now there's a lot of people that hate this movie. I've heard people dump on this movie, but I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. You don't really like the characters in this movie, though. You don't really care if they get picked off. There's nothing really redeeming about any of the characters. They're not likable, or, you don't say like, oh man, I'm sorry to hear that guy got killed. But it was, like I said, the scenery was good, and the action and the horror was done just right. I thought it was not over the top, and it did kind of leave you on the edge of your seat in certain scenes. This one came out in 2014. This is from Dark Sky Films. There's the main couple right there, and they're tent camping as they're kind of traveling through I think they're going through Oregon. Is that where it was? The scenery was absolutely beautiful. Willow Creek, California. They try to make it out of the forest alive. I'm not going to say if they do or not, but I do recommend this movie, Willow Creek. Check it out. Now on to Cloverfield from 2008. This movie was produced by J.J. Abrams, and it was directed by Matt Reeves. It's PG-13. This movie, the first time I saw it, I didn't really care too much for it, but this is the kind of movie that grew on me, kind of like House of a Thousand Corpses. The first time I saw that, I didn't really, I wasn't in love with House of a Thousand Corpses, but over time, it's become one of my favorite movies. I wouldn't say this has become one of my favorite movies, but I do like it a lot more now than I did the first time I watched it. This is a found footage movie of kind of a kaiju type monster that attacks New York City. And it's pretty effective. It's pretty creepy in certain spots. The acting is absolutely terrible. And once you get past the first maybe 15 or 20 minutes of the movie, the first 15, 20 minutes of the movie are terrible. It's really, really bad. But if you can get past that, it's definitely worth a watch, and the ending is pretty cool. This was a Best Buy exclusive steelbook that I got years ago. But I do recommend Cloverfield. Now, there was a sequel to this called Cloverfield Lane, 10 Cloverfield Lane or something like that, that had the big fella from Roseanne, John Goodman. That wasn't a found footage movie, but it was a legit horror movie, and I recommend that one even more than this one. The second movie of this was better, I thought. It has a pretty good twist to it, but it's not a found footage movie, unfortunately. It's just a straight horror movie. Let me know how you feel about Cloverfield, and if you've ever seen 10 Cloverfield Lane. But I do recommend watching this. If you can get past the first 10 or 15 minutes, or 15, 20 minutes even, it pays off. It's a good movie. This next one, I have two of these for some reason. I think I bought it at full price at one time, and then I bought it in a dollar bin at a Dollar Tree years later. This is called the Frankenstein Theory. This is about a creature that was made in the Arctic Circle by scientists who were trying to kind of recreate Frankenstein's monster. And it's a found footage movie. This is not a really good movie. It's very, very average, but the snowy setting, where was this filmed? The setting was beautiful. Venkenheim. In the vast frozen wilderness, Venkenheim and his team search for a legendary monster, a creature mired in the mystery and drenched in blood. What they find is an unspeakable truth. The monster was pretty cool here, though. But all in all, I would give this probably a 5 out of 10. It's a fun watch. Watch it one time if you haven't seen it. This next one is called The Last Broadcast, and Daniel talked about this one in his video too. This is a movie from 2006 about a team of researchers. It was there 4 or 5 to the team, if I remember. This is a cryptid found footage movie about the Jersey Devil and the Barren Pines. And again, the scenery was really, really cool, but this was just, to me, kind of an average run-of-the-mill type horror movie. I don't know if I would ever watch this again. If I did, it would be to watch with one or two of the commentary tracks, just to hear about a little bit more about the movie. It was decent enough to keep me to watch the whole thing. There's been times I watch movies and never finish them because they're so bad, or just they don't hold my interest. But this one held me through all the way, and I do like the Jersey Devil, and I like cryptids like that. So I thought this was at least somewhat interesting, but it was not a great movie. About a 5 out of 10 for me. From 2011, this is a space horror movie, found footage about aliens attacking United States astronauts, called Apollo 18. This is the Anchor Bay DVD. There was a Blu-ray release of this at the time, but I picked up the DVD. I probably will upgrade this one. This one was pretty good. I enjoyed this one. I like space movies. I like horror movies in space like this, and I thought it was pretty good. There were some pretty intense scenes. Let's see what we can read about this. Officially, Apollo 17 launched December 7th, 1972, was the last manned mission to the moon. But 2 years later, on December of 74, 2 American astronauts were sent out to a secret mission to the moon, funded by the U.S. Department of Defense. What you are about to see is the actual footage which the astronauts captured on that mission. While NASA denies its authenticity, others say it's the real reason we've never gone back to the moon. And this one was pretty good. It did have some pretty chilling and scary scenes. I would recommend this one. I would like to upgrade this to Blu-ray at some point. The next one is called Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. I'm sure most of you have seen this by now. This is a found footage movie through the eyes of a serial killer. So you get to see through his perspective. This is pretty good, and it does have a Blu-ray release by now, and I think, was it Scream Factory that put that out, which I do have that. But this is the Anchor Bay DVD of it. Yeah, there's really not much else to say about it. It's a pretty cool concept, and you can see Robert Englund is in there. But there's Leslie Vernon, and it's just a completely different concept of the movie. You can just, they have done it since this. I mean, there's probably a handful of these kind of movies now, but at the time, this was the kind of, I guess, the first time it's been done. And I think this is pretty entertaining, and I would recommend Behind the Mask. I'm sure most of you have seen it by now. This one came out in 2007. 91 minutes running time. That's the R-rated version. I don't know if they have an unrated version. I'm not sure. I didn't do the research on that. Up next is one of, I think this was the second to last movie that George A. Romero directed before he passed away. I believe Survival of the Dead was his last. This is Diary of the Dead from 2007. This is a found footage movie of zombies, and this is another one. The first time I watched it, I didn't really care much for it. I thought it was pretty bad, actually. It's definitely one of the weakest movies in the Dead franchise from Romero, but I've watched it a couple times since, and it has kind of grown on me. I like that he tried something different to make a found footage Dead movie. And let's see here, it says somebody gave it a 4-star masterpiece. The first time I saw it, I would have probably gave it a 5 out of 10, but over time, I think I would give it like a 6, maybe even a 6.5 out of 10. It's definitely worthy of a watch if you haven't seen it before, but if I watch it again, it'll probably be with commentary. You can watch with commentary with Romero, so I haven't done that yet, and I think maybe I will watch this again just to hear Romero's thoughts. So this came out in 2007, and then in 2009, he came out with Survival of the Dead, which happened to be his last feature film. So we have one more after this. It's a box set, but this is a pretty cool movie. This is called Creep. I think this was from 2007, right? 2005. And this is a British found footage horror movie about a woman who gets trapped in a subway, and she's not alone. She's being stalked. And this one was pretty edge of your seat type. It's a pretty suspenseful movie. I like this one a lot. I think they actually came out with a Creep 2, which I haven't seen yet. But this one was with, what's her name? She's a model. Franca Potente. Is that her name? Yeah. Franca Potente. She's pretty beautiful. But yeah, these type of movies like this where people are trapped in, there was one with it where somebody was trapped in a parking garage. There was one called ATM where somebody was being stalked outside of a little ATM building. And then, these kind of movies like this where they're trapped in a subway tunnel and it's dark and there's nobody around and you hear these different sounds. It just kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat. This was pretty good. I recommend Creep if you haven't seen it. Evil Dwells Underground from 2005. This is a pretty fun watch. And the last three movies in this box set are the Paranormal Activity 1, 2, and 3 movies. I thought these were absolutely terrible. I never liked these. I know that upset people when I talked about that before because there really are people who love these. And if I say I don't like it, please don't take offense to that. We don't always have to like the same movies. I know some people love these movies. Actually, some people think these are their favorite movies, and I'm not taking anything away from anybody. They just were not that good to me. I did not like these at all. And it's just basically paranormal happenings through kind of a surveillance camera, or like a, you know, cameras that they have in their room, and you can see the bed move, or I mean, just little things like that. I think these were made to scare children, but it just didn't do anything for me. So if I don't like them, why did I buy the box set? It's because I think I paid $5 for this at a thrift shop, and I have these in my collection. Would I ever watch these again? Probably not, but they're in my collection, and I think I've only watched these once. I don't even think I finished part 3, to be honest with you. And I think they have more than these. They might have gone beyond 3. But it just wasn't my thing. It can be yours, don't be mad, but it's just not mine. So thank you again to Daniel at Frank's Collecting Castle. I will definitely share his link down below. He's a great guy, one of my best friends here on YouTube, and we have a lot in common. We love the same type of movies, and you know, I strongly recommend you give him a sub and just watch his videos, because he's very passionate about movies, and he buys movies that he likes, not movies that he thinks will make his channel popular. And that's, to me, that's important. There's a lot of fake people out there. There's another Swede, I think, who's excellent, is DiscJunkie, and he's been doing this for a long time. I'm going to link his channel down below, too. His name is Oskar, and he's been on YouTube for almost 20 years, 15, 17, however long YouTube's been around, he's been on it. And he has an amazing channel, too. He has one of the best Texas Chainsaw Massacre collections I've ever seen anywhere. So I will link Oscar's channel below Daniel's, and I'll link that Texas Chainsaw video. You go check him out. I'm also going to link Inge, who is Arrow Thru head. He's another one of my good buddies here. He's from Norway, and I've known Inge for many, many years. He's a big follower of my channel, or he used to be anyway. He's pretty busy with his job and things that he does, but he even pops in on my second channel sometimes when I'm playing video games just to say hi, and he's a really cool guy too. So I'm going to link Inge down below, and Arrow Thru head. Do check him out as well. So I guess we'll end it here. I'm just kind of rambling on. Again, Daniel, thank you for including me. It's fun to do these. I'm actually thinking about putting together another tag video, and it won't be for a few weeks though, so I'll give you a little time to kind of recuperate. But I'm thinking about putting together something with like horror documentaries, just to kind of give you a heads up if that's something you're interested in. You know, it may be like a month from now, or 3 weeks, 5 weeks from now, somewhere in there, we'll do like a favorite horror documentary video, and I'll tag you in that if you're interested. As far as who I'm going to tag, I'm going to leave this open to anybody. If you want to participate in this, feel free to do a video on your favorite videos of found footage. And if you do decide to make a video, leave a comment so I can go check it out, and I'll leave a comment and a thumbs up and all that good stuff that we do here on YouTube. And I would pick a couple names, but Falagar, he's out of the country right now, and I don't think he has access to his movies for a while. So otherwise I would tag him. Chili Billy, I don't know if he has a lot of found footage, but Chili Billy, if you're watching and if you want to participate, please feel free to do so. If not, don't sweat it. Don't worry about it. But I will link Chili Billy's channel too. He has a great channel. He's another one of my favorites. All right, I've talked enough, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any suggestions, let me know. If you do a video, let me know so I can check it out. Do go check out Daniel and Oskar and Inge and Chili Billy, and have a great night or a great day, whatever time it is you're watching. Thanks for watching. Take care.